Hey everyone, this is Manish. I am working as Dev Advocate with mobile.dev. In this video, we are going to learn how to install Maestro on a Windows machine. Throughout this video, we will see different steps that are needed to install and work effectively with Maestro on a Windows machine. So, let's get started with the agenda. First of all, we are going to install Android Studio. For that, let's search it and open the first link that comes into your browser. At the time of recording, the latest version of Android Studio on a Windows is Android Studio Giraffe. So let's download it. You have to accept this agreement and then click on Download Android Studio Giraffe. It will take a while. Okay, now we'll click on the downloaded file. So this will actually start the launcher. Just click on the next and the default options. To install Android Studio. Installation is completed. Let's click next and start Android Studio. Finish. I am going to do a fresh installation, so I am not going to import any settings. Now this is an Android Studio setup wizard. Let's go through it very quickly. I am going to leave the standard as checked in. Next. And here we have to accept the agreement to install the SDK. We have to click on both Android SDK license and Android SDK preview license and accept both. Then we click on finish button. It will take some time to actually download the latest SDKs and install it. If such prompt comes up, just click yes. Let's click on finish. Now at this stage we are going to just trigger our virtual device manager and see if everything is all right. There is a pre-built image or a virtual device available here, which is of Pixel 3a API 34. And let's try to click on launch this AVD. Just allow the private networks. I have given the access. All of a sudden you can see that the size on disk for the Android emulator is 8.9 GB. This is normal. Also, one thing to be noted is that Android emulators are a bit heavy on the system resources. So if your laptop or a desktop is of low configuration, then you may face troubles or stutters during emulator startup. In that case, it is recommended to go ahead and use a real Android device. Okay, finally it is started. We can interact with an emulator using these three icons. So basically this is app overviews, this is a home button, and this is a back button. So right now you can see that I am typing ADB devices into my PowerShell, but I'm getting an error that ADB is not recognized. That's expected because we have not set up our Android home. So let's do that now. For that, what we'll do, we'll start Android Studio. Okay. Now we'll click on more actions and SDK manager. Okay. In this particular case, on my machine, my SDK is installed into this location. I'm just going to select this and copy this. Now what we'll do, we'll go to our systems. So basically here we'll click on properties should be fine. After going to properties, I can go to advanced system settings. Okay. After going to environment variables, we have to click on path and click on edit. What we are going to do here, we are going to click on new SDK. Okay. So if you go here and click on SDK, we can see we have build tools, we have emulators, we have platform tools. Okay. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna add platform tools to our environment variable, Android SDK, and again new platform tools, accept everything and okay. Now we'll close this one and finally this folder, this again, and what we are gonna do is to just close our terminal and reopen it. By the way, I am using Microsoft Terminal app. If you don't have in your system, I would highly recommend to go and install it. So let me show you quickly which particular app I am talking about. This one, Windows Terminal. There is another one, Windows Terminal Preview. Do not install that one. Just install the Windows Terminal, the first result if you search terminal on Microsoft Store. Okay, coming back to our terminal now. If I type ADB, I am getting all the options for ADB, and if I see ADB version, and I have Android Debug Bridge 1.0.41, version 34.0.4. Okay, so that's great. Now we have our Android Studio installed. Now what we are gonna do, we are going to install WSL into our system. Okay, right now if I click on this drop down, I can see I have PowerShell, I have command prompt, and I have Azure Cloud Shell, right? So let's go ahead and install WSL. To install WSL, as mentioned in this document, just we need to run one command, and which is WSL -- install. Okay, in my system it is already installed. That means WSL2 is already installed and enabled, but there is no distro installed. So what I am gonna do, I'm just going to type this one, WSL install distro -d is for distro, and I'm gonna select Ubuntu. I would also highly recommend here to install Ubuntu because that's more friendly and more users are on that, so you will get plenty of supports if you're using Ubuntu in your WSL. So it's downloading Ubuntu. Okay, now This particular error says that installing this may take my Ubuntu terminal has been installed, launched, but then it says that WSL2 is required to update and update to its kernel component. Okay, so for that we are going to just click on this link. This is very natural, and you may also get this error. Okay, for that what we are going to do, we are going to run this command. First of all, let's close this. Okay, and WSL update and click yes. Now if I install again, let's see what happens this time. Okay, this is great. This time I didn't got any error, and I am asked to enter my Unix username. So I am gonna put a username. Let's say I'll call myself Manish, and then it will ask me to enter a password. Let's wait for that. Okay, I'm typing my password. Please make sure that you remember your password, because if you forget it, it would be very hard to recover it. Also, when you are going to use any sudo command on your WSL, you will require your password. So keep a very handy password for your WSL. Okay, my installation is successful. I'll wait for PowerShell to prompt me. Now it's done, right? Now what I'm gonna do, I am going to close my terminal again and relaunch it. Now after relaunching, if I click on this drop down, I should see another option of Ubuntu. Now I have launched Ubuntu. The first thing that I will do after Ubuntu is your WSL. This is vice versa. This is same thing. So what I am going to do is I am going to run this command, sudo apt get update. Again, it will ask me my password. I entered my password. This is the WSL password that we set just now. Okay. Now, again, there is another command, sudo apt upgrade. Just press Y and enter. It is always a best practice to update your Ubuntu before you install any more packages on that. The beauty of this particular terminal is that now we are using PowerShell and Ubuntu or WSL in the same window. So we can just switch from here, and there is no problem. We are not switching into multiple apps. So all done. We have so far installed our Android Studio. We have installed our WSL, and we have updated our WSL Ubuntu. Okay, now let's clean it up. And if I go now to my WSL and type ADB, it says that I don't know what ADB is, and we are very much prompted to use this command, sudo apt install ADB, but do not use it. Let's wait and go to our documentation. Okay, I'll just close other windows to save some space. Perhaps I'll just keep this one, and I'll just close tabs to the right. Okay, in this you can see that we are going to install JDK. Oh, let's take it little afterwards. Okay, what we are gonna do, we are gonna set up our ADB into WSL2. Okay, for that let's do one thing. We'll scroll down and we'll see what are the different Android Studio packages available for us to download, and then we finally come to a place where it says that command line tools only. This is what we want. And at this point, even though we are on a Windows machine, but we are interacting with our WSL. WSL is nothing but Windows subsystem for Linux. So we are going to download the latest command line tools for Linux. For that, just click on this zip and click on I have agreed and just download it. Okay, it will download, and let's see where we are. Okay, now if you go to your WSL and press ls, there is nothing, no files there. Okay, now what I am going to do is that I am going to cp slash mnt. This is just mount. I am mounting to my C drive, and then I am going to my users, and this is Maestro, and this is downloads, and then finally I am going to, what is the file name? File name is command line tools, and I'm going to press dot so that I want to copy the entire zip file to my root folder here. So when I click on this, now if I press ls, I'll see that command line tools for Linux has been successfully copied into my WSL terminal. Okay, now let's see what next we have to do, and we can close this. We don't require it anymore. Okay, now first thing we need to let's go to this. Let's complete this step as well. Now if you type Java, it will say that okay, I don't know what Java is, because Java is not installed essentially on the WSL. So for that we are going to just use this command sudo apt install java open JDK 11. Okay, and just we'll press yes. Why? It wants to use some space. Okay, it will be a quick few minutes for us to get Java installed. Okay, it's almost done. Okay, now our Java is installed. Now if I type Java now, it gives me all the options, and if I type Java version, it says that okay, OpenJDK 11 is installed into my WSL, which is fair enough for our purposes. Now let's go to the next steps. Okay, what we'll do, first of all we'll create a folder called Android, right? Then it says that I should go into Android folder, cd Android. Let's go into that. Now I have to create a tools, and before that I have to unzip. Okay, unzip the Android command line zip file in an Android directory using command line unzip. Okay, now let's unzip and delay slash and slash. Okay, what's the file name? Command line tools, and I'll just press dot here. dot here to unzip here. Okay, unzip not found. Okay, very well, we didn't install unzip earlier, so sudo apt install unzip. Okay, we are done. Now we'll just run another the same command. File name not matched. Okay, let's unzip. Sorry, there is no dot. Okay, what we ran actually is the same thing what we have written here, unzip. And now if I just press ls, now we are inside Android directory, and we can see there is a command line directory created, which has something called notice text, bin, lib, and source of properties. Let's go out of it. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to create a new folder inside Android called tools. Okay, so now there are two folders inside our Android directory. First one is command line tools, second one is the tools. Okay, so now it says that move all the contents from command line tools to tools. Okay, let's do that. The start says that all the command from command line tools to tools, and press enter. We are done. Now ls cd cmd line tools, ls, nothing there. Okay, but if you go to tools now and ls here, we can see all the things from command line tools is into our tools directory. Now what we are gonna do is, first of all, add these things into our path. So in a WSL, what we need to do, we typed cd space tilde just to go to our home directory, and then I am going to say dot bash rc. Okay, bash rc is just a way, a file by which you can set up your environment variables. There are other ways also, but I'm gonna use bash rc. Okay, I have navigated till the bottom, then I press on I button to enable the insert mode. I came out of file and then press enter. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this. Okay, and just how you paste it, actually you just right click. If you right click, it automatically paste these things. So it says that we are going to export Android home, which is home and Android. That's why we created our folder name as Android with capital A. And then we are saying that, okay, Android home, then go to tools and bins. That's what the path is. Okay, now to come out of the insert mode, so I am into insert mode right now. If to come out of insert mode, I will press escape button. I press escape button. Now I press shift button and colon. Okay, this one. So now to save this file, what we need to do, we need to type this wq. Okay, and then press enter. So now our bash rc has the same file. If you open it again, we'll see that export command is still there. Okay, now this time if you want to escape out without saving anything, so just type q, don't type wq. Q exclamation or q is fine. Okay, now before we can do anything, we need to source it to actually sourcing is a way to actually tell the system, okay, there is a new environment variable, you need to look for that. Okay, so source tilde slash dot bash rc. Okay, now what's next? Let's see our tutorial or other documentation again. Okay, it is saying me to run this command hdk manager list. Okay, let's dig little deep. Okay, now we are here ls bin cd bin. Okay, ls. So we can see that this hdk manager command is here, and just now what we set up in our path is that the folder bin. So right now, if I go to my home folder and type this command, HDK manager list, if my environment variable has been set correctly, the system should be able to identify this HDK manager, and it should give the result of the list. Okay, now it says that could not determine HDK root, either specify it explicitly with HDK root or move this package HDK root or move this package into expected location. Okay, cd android ls mv tools do cmd line tools. Okay, ls cd cmd line tools ls tools. Okay, this means I have to go and update my now, because if I run this command HDK manager list, it will say that okay, I am not able to find, because obviously we moved the folder, right? So let's type this command dot rc, and here we are going to say okay, see let me go, okay, escape, let me just see my name, cmd line tools. Okay, insert mode, cmd line tools / bin wq. I have to source it again because this is a update in environment variables. Okay, now HDK manager list, voila, that's got fixed. Okay, this shows that okay, our setup is now good enough, and let's go to the next step. Yeah, we need to find the problem and fix them. There is no other way. Okay, so now I'm going to say okay, HDK manager install platform tools. So let's press Y. This is general Google agreement. Now this is done, and it says that finally add this to your path as well. Copy, Android, and then okay, cmd line tools, and this should be okay now. Let's source it again. Oh my goodness, wait. Okay, now we have our platform tools as well into our environment variable. I have sourced it. So right now if I type adb, and if everything is gone good, hopefully we can see the adb commands. Yes, we are. And let's see the adb version, which is exactly what we had here, right? This is very essential. This is very essential. 34.0.4 104. This the minor version doesn't matter, but at least it should be 34.0.4, and it here also it is 34.0.4. Sorry, it is a patch version, right? I may be wrong. Leave it. Okay, now we have our Java installed, our Android SDK installed. We are good, right? Now it's time to juice up our Maestro. So let's use this command. This is simple curl command. Hopefully curl is installed. If not, we'll install it. So I'm into my root directory. I'm just running this command. It started to download. Root directory of WSL, by the way. I'm just keeping a clear difference between my PowerShell and WSL. once things are done, I'm not gonna use PowerShell as often as WSL. Okay, so Maestro has basically created this path, everything and all. If I go here vi tilde slash dot bash rc, so you can see that Maestro has automatically added dot maestro slash bin, and let's come out of it. And if I type ls-a, I can see there is a new folder .maestro has been created. Okay, this is actually how you install Maestro on a Linux machine or a WSL. So Maestro being installed, let's run source command again because we just added hopefully. Now if I type Maestro version, I should see Maestro. Oh, this is first time, it takes time. Okay, 1.30.4, which is the latest Maestro version with us, right? Now what next? Let's try to see ADB devices on PowerShell. I am into PowerShell. Please keep a note on which window I am right now. It says offline. Don't worry, run again. It is online because we haven't used this for a very long time, emulator for a long time. So now our ADB is installed. What should happen if I type ADB devices here? My goodness, it doesn't see any devices. Yes, that is expected because we are inside Windows. Okay, kind of a emulated environment of Linux, right? We do not have direct connections to every applications that are running on our Windows host machine, right? So the next step we have, let's see my agenda. We installed Android Studio, installed WSL, SDK to WSL. Okay, we installed Maestro. Now we are in the step 5th where we are gonna set up Android emulator. So I also want to show you guys some common errors that you will see when you're going through the next steps, right? So let's go to Windows and here. Okay, we ADB version, we did that till that point. Okay, now I copied it and I am into my PowerShell again. I just paste it. Okay, I am expecting an error. Yes, I got that error, and this you will get more often than not, right? So how you can fix it? First of all, if there is an Android Studio Windows open, close it. Okay, you need to make sure only emulator is running, no other Android Studio window. Let's run it again. Okay, again same error, right? Now second thing to fix and second thing to do actually is type this command adb kill server. Okay, now if I run again, let's see what happens. It says okay, now there is no error, the command is not dying. It says that emulator already offline. Doesn't matter, we don't care. Okay, now what we want to do, we are coming to our WSL and we again typed ADB devices. It won't work, it's unnecessary. Okay, let me see, it won't work, right? Because we have not yet bridged the ADB between our Windows and our WSL. Kill server, right? To bridge it, actually what we need to do, first of all, I am on a Wi-Fi, so what I'm gonna do, I'm going to click on Wi-Fi symbol, then go to properties, and then I'm going to copy my IPv4 address. This will change based on to different connections. If you are on a LAN connection or wired connection, this will be different, but the whole agenda here is to find your IPv4 address and get it handy for the next step. So I'm just going to paste it here. Okay, now let's go to the documentation. and here we will find a command for export, right? So this is, you can see, this is the command. Okay, now we have pasted the command, and now this Windows IPv4 address we are going to replace with my system IPv4 address, which is Windows, right? So it will change based on system to system, so be very cautious here. There have been some reports where users face trouble because of VPN, so try with different options. If one internet connection is not working, try with another. There is no other way out. Okay, now I am going to type this command: export adb server socket TCP 192.168.1.7, which is my IPv4 address, and port is 5037. I press enter. What I did now is essentially saying WSL to check for ADB into my Windows host machine via this particular TCP protocol. Okay, so that's the only thing that we did now. Now if I type ADB devices now, we can see that our emulator 5554 is showing up. Okay, so we have essentially completed most of the steps here. We have successfully set up our Android Studios WSL2. We set up our Android SDK into WSL. We saw that our ADB bridges are same version, and then we saw what type of problems can come up when you are basically running server sockets, not even server on a PowerShell. And then finally we bridged the PowerShell and WSL using ADB server socket. One thing you need to make sure that you do not close PowerShell window, otherwise whole thing will go off. Keep it running, just another window, don't bother about that. Now our Maestro is installed. So how we get started on Maestro, right? So let's say run a sample flow. For that, Maestro has given a very handy command. Okay, Maestro download samples. I can see there is no, I can just get rid of this rm minus rf command line tools. Okay, I just want a clean workspace for me. Now I download Maestro samples. Okay, hopefully it will download. Okay, yes, downloads. It downloaded, sorry. Now I go to samples. Okay, now here I can see there is a sample APK. This is a Windows machine, so do not even think that you can run iOS apps, right? Windows, you can only run Android apps. If someone is able to crack how to run iOS on Windows, I will be glad to learn that from that person. Okay, ADB install APK. It says that it is installing it. Okay, finally installed, right? So I am looking for an app called Wikipedia. Yes, it came here it is, Wikipedia, right? Now finally what I'm gonna do is the final step. Let's hope that we will be able to run, right? To run, let me just put it side by side. Okay, and this one. So let me clear my workspace a bit. Okay, now what I'm gonna say, Maestro test android flow.yaml. This is the error I was expecting. Okay, now I press Ctrl C. What I did wrong here, I didn't told Maestro to look into my host machine, which is present at this IP address, right? Now let's see. Voila, this concludes our tutorial and our app is launched. That's it, that's the sample flow. Now you can build on top of this, all the apps that you want to automate. There are plenty of different amazing things that you can do with Maestro. uh, we are there to help you in case you are stuck, so feel free to reach out to us and enjoy. Have a nice day, guys.